A massage chair might seem a bit extravagant, especially these days. 8 different settings, adjustable intensity, plus it's heated, and it just feels so good. Yes, a massage chair might seem a bit extravagant, but when it can come with a car, suddenly it seems quite practical. The all-new 2025 Volkswagen Tiguan, packed with premium features like available massaging front seats, it only feels extravagant.
Everyone who works at Starbucks, full or part-time, gets stock in our company. Which means that when Starbucks succeeds, our people do too. At Starbucks, benefits like company stock are just the start.
Trump's 620 million of quick crypto riches reshapes his fortune. And I'm going to talk about journaling. Enjoy.
Stay alive. Go and play outside. I can't be cool forever, but I can stay alive. Jesus was a carpenter. My daddy sold TVs. My mom watched other people's kids and anticipated needs. And when we go down to get groceries, I would flip through magazines.
Welcome to the Age of Jeremy. My name is Jeremy Quintanilla. I hope you're having a fantastic day. If you're new to this podcast, this is everything that I am learning and sharing with you on my path to being an entrepreneur. I hope that it gives you some insights into the journey that you're on. And you can follow me on social media at Age of Jeremy, wherever you get your social media. And make sure that you sign up for my Instagram broadcast channel at Dope Insights and Updates. Also, make sure to check out all of our podcasts of Age of Radio, all of our Age of Radio podcasts, everything the Coach JV podcast, to the Good Morning Crypto, to Home Video Hustle, to everything I learned from movies. There are over 100 podcasts that have come through our podcast network. So make sure that you check that out at ageofradio.com or on YouTube at Age of Radio Verse. So to kick off today's episode, I want to talk a little bit about Trump's $620 million of quick crypto riches, and it reshapes his fortune. This is an article from Bloomberg. I use a lot of Bloomberg articles. I am not sponsored by Bloomberg. I recommend that you go and check out Bloomberg, read their stuff, subscribe to their stuff, love their stuff. I don't know. It's a good place to get information to make assessments. The Trumps have used their name and connections to profit from digital assets at a quicker clip than from their traditional real estate businesses. On the surface, Donald Trump's personal net worth looks remarkably unchanged since retaking the White House. $6.5 billion on Election Day, $6.4 billion now. This is an article from Tom Maloney and Masa and Demetrios Pogas, and this was released on July 2nd. Digging deeper into the figures reveals an unprecedented and unmistakable shift in how he and his family are buttressing their empire, and how much more quickly they stand to potentially profit from their fame, influence, and power. Whether it's putting their brand on real estate projects or attaching it to perfumes and mattresses, licensing deals have long been used by the Trump family to make money fast compared with the years of planning and execution needed in real estate development. But with crypto, the Trumps can turbocharge the monetization of their name. Combined with loosened constraints on foreign deal making in the second Trump administration, it has been a bonanza. Crypto ventures have added at least $620 million to Donald Trump's fortune in the span of months, according to the Bloomberg's Billionaires Index, which is valuing his family earnings from projects like World Liberty Financial and the Trump meme coin for the first time. The money made from an expanding lineup of virtual tokens and obscure companies, deriving their value largely from their association with the president and his MAGA movement, dwarfs the more than $34 million the Trump organization reported taking it from real estate licensing deals last year. This is a quote. "I'm incredibly proud of our wonderful company," said Eric Trump, executive vice president of the Trump organization. "We have never been stronger. While the president's assets are in a trust administered by Donald Trump Jr., he continues to personally benefit from the success of the Trump Organization, and Bloomberg's Wealth Index rolls up the family's various interests to the patriarch for now. Many private ventures that Trump's children are engaged in haven't been included because the details of their financial interests couldn't be determined, including the private club, executive branch in Washington, Japanese hotel company turned to Bitcoin stockpiler Metaplanet Radio and podcasting outfit Salem Media Group Inc., prediction market startup Kalshi, and online drug retailer Blink RX. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is not to be like, oh, the Trumps are worth $620 million. There's more to that article. Make sure that you follow it. I link a free version of the article inside of my broadcast channel, Dope Insights and Updates, which I'll be putting out after I'm done recording this, which is irrelevant to you because you don't know when I'm recording this. I'm recording this on July 7th. You will hear it on July 8th. So if you're in the Insights and Updates, you will get this article in there as I make a post. Reason why I'm bringing this up is a few-fold. One, trusts are really important. So again, all of this is managed by the trust, the Donald Trump Trust, or the Trump Family Trust, I guess. And so if you don't have a trust, I really recommend that you research trusts, how they work. They have beneficiaries associated with them. Some of them can go on forever. Some of them can go on for a short period of time. Sometimes they're locked up where they can't be changed. Sometimes you can change them. That's a revocable trust. The first one where you can't change it is a irrevocable trust. And so again, those are the basic 2 types of trust, but what you can do with them, you can do all kinds of things with them. Specifically, one of the ones that I'm looking at utilizing right now is a charitable remainder trust, which I'm working on putting some lives together to talk a little bit about that as I move forward. Now, I personally don't have my own trust set up right now. We've got my mother's completed, and now I'm working on setting up my specific trust. One of the trusts that Coach JV talks a lot about is the Rockefeller Method Trust, or the Waterfall Trust. In that Waterfall Trust, essentially there's multiple trusts that open up after the beneficiary passes away. Some of them are trusts that go to the children so that it can manage their money. And then there's an irrevocable trust that lives on into some type of perpetuity to manage the trust. And type of perpetuity, I mean, is that some trusts you can put for 100 years, you might make them for 60 years, but it all depends on the state of where you open up the trust at. And so, again, I'm just bringing that up because a lot of people are like, well, Trump can't make billions of dollars. Well, he can because all the assets are in a trust where he's not the owner of, and then that allows them to still grow their fortune. The second thing why I wanted to bring this up is, for fuck's sake, excuse my language, please get into Bitcoin. Please get into cryptocurrency. I do not care. I do not care if you hate Donald Trump. Cryptocurrency is going to be here to stay. Yes, it's sometimes used for bad things. No, that's not every single piece of cryptocurrency. There's bad actors in every space, but you can make a lot of money right now with Bitcoin. You can make a lot of money right now with cryptocurrency. As more and more companies create funds that utilize cryptocurrency, and the more, I guess, solid the base gets for these types of cryptocurrencies, eventually you will be able to lend against them. We took out a loan against our Bitcoin. We didn't have to pay tax on the capital gains of that Bitcoin because we did it as a loan, and we put it into our insurance company, Freedom Insurance. That's how we started that company. Now we have an insurance company that sells index universal life policies and term life insurance policies, right? So the point is that don't yes, I'm not a fan of Donald Trump, but I'm going to take advantage of everything that I can right now to build the family that I want, or to build the life that I want for me and my tribe. Okay. And my tribe, or my clan, or the people that are around me, my family, the people that I'm loyal to that are loyal to me. Right. We build the clan, we grow the clan, and we protect the clan, right? That's my 4th principle, and clan is probably a horrible name to use for that. But the point is that's what we should be doing, or that's what I'm doing. That's what I want to be doing. So I put aside the fact that I hate this guy to see the things that are beneficial that I can take advantage of to move me and my family forward. And if we're altruistic and if we're good people, then we can take the money that we make and we can make the world a better place. That's why it's so important to have principles, to stay humble, stick true to those principles while you're building your wealth, so that then you can go and build the amazing world that you want. My principles are compassion, it's not compassionate, I don't do it. If it's not integrity and aligned with my compassion and my other principles, then I don't do it. If it doesn't build the tribe, grow the tribe, or if it doesn't leave the world better than I found it, then I don't do it. And if it doesn't build the tribe, grow the tribe, and protect the tribe, then I don't do it. Okay. Those are so important to me. And as I define more and more of those, that's what I try to live by. So get into effing cryptocurrency, start dollar cost averaging in just a little bit every week. You can find $10 maybe a week, $5 maybe a week to start buying, because that can get you into the mindset of investing. Then you can learn about more investing and do more investing as you grow. The third thing of reason why I brought this up is because if you notice, they have lots of different investments and lots of different businesses. You don't want to spread yourself like super thin like I did and start a bunch of businesses. I started way too many businesses. Now I've kind of focused more of my time on the things that I want to be important, and I say no to a lot more stuff. There are things that I'm creating and things that I'm driving, and I focus on building those things and getting better at those things as I move forward. So if I focus on those for the next 10 years, those things are going to be very, very, very big, very, very, I don't know why I'm saying very, very so much. They're going to grow. They're going to create larger amounts of revenue, and it's going to be able to catapult me into my 50s in a better position than I was going into my 40s, right? I've only been doing this for 8 years, and I've already change the trajectory of the people in my clan. Like, I don't have kids, right? So I look at my clan and the people that I'm loyal to as my family to project us into the future and to make sure that their kids are being projected into the future. So the clan and what we do with our wealth stays. And again, in a small amount of 8 years, which is nothing, I've been able to change my entire scope of my entire future. And again, it takes discipline and determination and trying new things out. So the point is, once you get some of those going, then start to invest in other things. It doesn't always need to be your time. It could be your money, right? I tend to put my time into them to get access to the investments. And then I take the money that I get from those investments and I put them into the other businesses that I want to move those businesses forward. But it doesn't have to be that way. You can do it in a different capacity. There's nothing wrong if you say, hey, I want to make a profit out of this. I want to just get money out of this, right? That's just not me. There's things that I want to create in the world. I want to create our podcast app. I want to get into more software creation. I want to get Merlin to the next level, right? I want to start an animation studio. I want to build software that helps build those types of things. I want to invent things in the world to make the world a better place. But there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, I want to profit and make profit. It's just not the thing that I specifically adhere to and the thing that I specifically agree with. If that's you, go and do you. I'm going to go and do me and build my life. But the point is that if you only have this one source of income, right, you have to find a way to get other income to come in. You don't have to have 10 sources of income. You don't have that. You have to find the thing that you're really good at apart from the thing that you're doing right now, right? And you need to find ways to utilize that to get more income in. And when you can get more of that income in, then you can invest more. And then you start the trajectory of having the ability to grow your specific empire or grow your family or your clan or your tribe or whatever you want to call it. Okay. The other thing is, I wanted to point this out to go back to the cryptocurrency, is that they are making more money from cryptocurrency than from where they were at with their real estate deals. And so I think that that's really important, because if he's in the presidency and he's going to try to crash the dollar, if you do crash the dollars, there's the concept that maybe they're going to peg it. If they end up pegging that to Bitcoin, he puts himself in a good, strong position for his entire family to get wealthy. Again, you have to start thinking about your clan and your family and building their wealth. That's the reason why the Trumps end up being successful, whether you hate them or not. The fact that they're worth $6.5 billion, or he's worth $6.5 billion, and it doesn't include any of some of their kids' investments, that means that family specifically manages growing that family's wealth. Okay. And that's the thing another thing that I really want you to take away from this is that you have to plan and think about the future of your family and communicate, teach, learn together, invest together, make businesses together to push you guys into the future. Again, join my Dope Insights and Updates in my Instagram, my broadcast channel. Go to Age of Jeremy Instagram, in the profile, Dope Insights and Updates. Hit that. I'll put this link in there. Just read about that so you can get a sense of how they're making money with crypto to set themselves up to be very wealthy in crypto. Don't miss out on that. Look and see, hey, look, they're using a trust. Go and research trusts. Okay. Research how to make more income. Okay. How to, maybe you can start a business. Maybe it's something that you can do to move your family forward by you and your cousins, or you and your brother, or you and your sister, or you and your mom and dad, or whatever. Start a business to make more income coming in on the side, to then not to buy more shit, to invest it, to move your family forward towards generational wealth.
With a major selection of the looks your kiddos love, starting at just $4 in the Walmart app, a new school year means a stylish new them. Who knew? Find skater skirts and Crocs that say, I'm casual but cool. Sparkly sneakers that say, it's my classroom, you're just learning in it. And preppy polos that say, I'm the teacher's pet, even if they're mommy's menace at home. Find their favorite styles starting at just $4 in the app. The Walmart you thought you knew is now new.
This MailChimp-verific jingle is brought to you by MailChimp.
MailChimp, your marketing with AI and more. Advanced automations to connect to your store. MailChimp, your marketing and boost your clicks. Multi-channel campaigns now with SMS. That's lit.
MailChimp your marketing today with the #1 AI-powered email marketing and automation platform, Intuit MailChimp. #1 based on publicly available data on competitors' customers. Plans vary. SMS available as add-on. Visit MailChimp.com.
One of the things that's been really important to me this year is making sure that I'm taking care of myself. And one of the ways to do that is not only exercise more, to actually manage the protein or my macros, make sure that I'm taking the right amount of protein content, the right amount of calories, and trying to kind of manage that much better than I did in the past. Not only because I'm a type 1 diabetic, but because, I just probably should do that to make sure that I feel better so that I can be more efficient, which is something that I've talked a lot about on this podcast. Recently, I started taking something called NAD. So essentially, you have, I don't know if we're forgot exactly what it stands for, but essentially you have mitochondria in your body that helps kind of like repair, I believe it's your cells from mitophagy, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm not a scientist, and I didn't prep 100% for this podcast. I'm not going to lie to you. And so essentially the NAD is the mitochondria helps repair those cells. And essentially the idea is that you can, I don't know, your skin could look more fresh and younger. You can get more energy and so forth. But my thing is that what it does is it's helped me repair faster from my workouts. I've only been on it a week. It's a shot that I take, and I have, and I feel a lot better throughout the day, and my energy is a lot higher. And so what that has allowed me to do is kind of being more like, I guess, calmer about what's happening around me, because I'm not so exhausted. My body's not trying and stressed from trying to rebuild itself from working out and lifting weights and from running and all of that stuff. So essentially I feel a lot better. And so what I've been doing is I've been kind of like deep diving back into really perfecting myself. And perfecting myself in the way that I study things, in the way that I write things, in the way that I journal, in the way that I think, in the way that I organize, to really get back to a lot of the roots, the things and the activities that really helped me as I started building this business, and the things that I really wanted to do and were doing essentially before I got stuck in the rat race and got my job at the bank, and then got stuck into, the everyday repetitive cycle of things and not planning for the things that I wanted to do to move me personally, my family, and my life forward, which again, this journey of over the last years has taken a lot from me. And now it's time to become even more efficient to get us to the next stage and get me to the next level. And one of those things is, the ability to plan and the ability to kind of journal. So I kind of wanted to take some time, because it's really important, is the planning piece of it. So I subscribe 100% to the role model that is built into 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And I have an actual physical, this zipper here, I don't know if you can hear it. That zipper there, that's to my actual physical note, my physical planner that I keep, that allows me to manage my tasks in a paper format. And so the way that I have it is I have my appointment schedule on there. I have my notes. I have my to-do list. And it's not that I don't have a virtual to-do list. I have lots of different kinds of to-do lists, but the stuff that's really takes the focal point are the things that end up being on this list. And then I take from the virtual list of things that I need to kind of dump off or to kind of manage over a longer period of time. And then I put them on this specific paper as I'm starting to get them done. And I kind of break them up based off of a couple of things. One, and I don't do this all the time. I'm just trying to get back into it. And so I'm sharing it with you because it's helping me to move me to the next level. So I spent the 2 Sundays ago writing down the roles that I have. So I'm a clan leader. That sounds horrible. Not that clan, my tribe. Clan leader. My like a family leader. Okay. 3T CFO / co-founder. Age of Radio CFO / co-founder. QFin CEO / co-founder, CFO of Refine / owner, CFO, CMO, and COO of Blockheads, which is the Merlin company. I'm a board member of the Red Wizard Gaming Society. I am a thought leader for Age of Jeremy for development. I'm also a Democrat PC committeeman, right? Because politics are really important to me. And, we currently do have a 2-party system. I'm not currently working. There's a strategy that can be in place to be on the party that makes the most sense for you right now, to get in, learn the ropes, join it, and then maybe either keep to that party and add some other types of memberships, to what you're doing and what you're a part of to move the things that to move your constituents forward and the things that why they elected you. Okay. I'm not going to go too much into that. Okay. And then there's some other ones that I still need to write down on here, but I wrote this down and then I said, okay, so review your roles and then do the roles that are important, but not urgent and important. Those are the things that you need to focus on. You need to focus on the ones that are important, but not urgent and important. And then based off of those, I have broken it down by whether or not they generate revenue or not. And if they don't, and if they generate revenue, those are after the things that need to be built in to help me stay strong. And for me to like the most important things, the important and urgent, they don't necessarily have to be revenue driving activities like going to the gym every day. Okay, I need to go to the gym every day. That's going to be something that's going to go in as a big block. Then I'm going to find the other big blocks that could be revenue generating or not revenue generating, and building them in is the most important thing. And then every other task is broken out by whether or not that task creates revenue for me. And if that task doesn't create revenue for me, then it's not the one that does first, unless it has like a deadline associated with it. So then after I do that, I write all that stuff down and then I organize it by A1 through 3, B1 through 3, C1 through 3. And the goal is that you get as many as those A1s, 2s, and 3s done throughout the day that are maybe not a part of your blocking the time in to complete them. Okay. Or when you have a free time, you just work on them. Like for instance, my A1 today was follow up, and this is a revenue driving activity. That's not like a big, not urgent. So let me digress for a second. So when they're important, but they're not urgent, those activities you put into big blocks on your time. Okay. So for example, I have the time that I go to lunch every day. I have the time that I go to the gym every day. And I'm working on adding the time where I study my Chinese every day and where I work on wireframing and building the compendium to wireframing with Figma that I'm going to talk about here in a minute. Okay. Once all those things are in on the week, and again, I used to do this regularly. I'm trying to get back into it because I found that getting deeper into this and going harder into it is going to make me more efficient, and I can teach it to you and you can benefit from it as well. Okay. So once those are done, then we write down the tasks that we need to get done, and then we base them off of, if they're important and if they create revenue. So Message Levi, which was a client of mine, I needed to mess him something. That wasn't a revenue generating activity, but I needed to get it to him. So I put that as A2. A1 was follow up with my lawyer about getting an opinion piece written so we can start doing Merlin ads on X. And so I did that, and then I got a link sent over to pay him so that we can move forward with it. So I'm going to pay him probably after this, because it just reminded me that I got that email and I needed to pay him. Okay. And then I follow up with Good Evening Crypto on someone who's interested in advertising with them. And then I have follow up with a bunch of people for Age of Radio ads. So that's like the next big thing. So I'm going to try it because I know that's a chunk of time. I'm going to grab that and I'm going to put that into another, into a calendar block so that I can just knock all of those out. Okay. And then, so I need to get this podcast done. This is on here. This is technically a revenue generating thing because it's how I communicate with the people that listen to me and how I build my brand, which goes along with my role of being a thought leader in a specific space. And then I needed to make sure that I got CJV's podcast, which is also a revenue generating activity. So again, I want to make sure that most of the things that I see on my to-do list are ours that create some type of revenue, because that's the biggest thing about moving your businesses forward. If they aren't things that are going to create revenue, then you're pushing the needle forward in things that you don't need to push the needle forward in. So I have 4 big R's on here that I need to do. I need to set up time to make sure that I also get those done. I didn't realize there was that many. There were just these little tasks that were sitting there that are things that can actually help produce more revenue, that I have to get those out the gate. Okay. And so since today is almost over, and again, if you listen to my podcast, really focusing only on 55 hours a week, which will get you an extra week a month, right? Which will get you an extra so many, 12 weeks a year. You're going to move yourself further, and then you need to find people to help delegate and do the other stuff if you still have too much stuff on your plate. Okay. Because if it can be delegated and it's not something that you need to do, then you need to be able to do that and find the person to do that to make your businesses move forward. Okay. So I have all of that done. And then the other thing that I'm really trying to focus on Sundays is to do the weekly compass. Okay. So the weekly compass is where you identify the roles that you're going to work on for the week. So for example, like I know if I look at all my roles, what's the biggest things that I need to get done in 3T? What are the biggest things that I need to get done for, Age of Radio? What are the biggest things that I need to get done for Q Financial? What are the most revenue driving ones? Okay. There's this, and this. What are the ones that after that, maybe you say, what are the ones that drive the most purpose to me? Okay. And then I do those. Like Red Wizard Gaming Society, I need to get the nonprofit tax code set up for the type of nonprofit that it is. That's important to me because that helps me build my entire vision that I want for my life and for the lives of the people around me. So I want to do that. So again, it's kind of like revenue mission based a little bit. So you have to find your essentially what would happen is if you base it off of your principles and your mission, then you will get that stuff done. I guess you should do that when you're planning your roles for the week to those are the big ones. Like this is for my overall mission. I need to get this done this week, whether or not it produces revenue or not, because it's going to be this big overarching, not important, but urgent thing that needs to be done. And then with the other things that come on there, if it is revenue driving, maybe then you want to make that the number one thing. I'll have another podcast on this. I'll have multiple podcasts on this because it's going to be a really big part of how I'm moving forward. But again, have a weekly compass that says, these are the roles. These are the things that I need to get done this week. These are the things that I need to sharpen my saw. So on here, at the first role, the last one that I actually did on this was probably earlier this year. Right. And it was find a BJJ dojo. I never actually did that because again, I'm not going back and referencing it. This is one of the things that I've really, really fallen off on. And one of the things that I really, really want to get better in. And so you have what's a number one personal thing that you need to get done this week. What's another social emotional thing that you have to do this week. What's one of the mental things that you have to do this week. And what's one of the spiritual things that you need to do this week. Okay. And so then it has role. So 3, you'll put the roles down that you want to focus on. I would say for each week, only focus on 3 or 4 roles. But before you put them on there, decide which roles that you want to focus on based off of the items that fall under that role that are going to, one, provide the most important thing for your overall vision of what you're trying to accomplish. And then the second thing would be the revenue driving thing, right? Because if you're not, this is the thing, it doesn't all have to be about money, but at the end of the day, if you really want to create resources, you have to create more money. And if you can create more money, then you can do a lot of more stuff to drive the vision that you want. So money has to be a very important theme of how you're moving the things forward. It doesn't necessarily have to be the theme. It has to be a part of the theme of how you want to move it forward. So to kind of explain that, if I just go out there and say, I need to make $100,000 and I'm going to go sell MLM. If it's not something that I believe in or I care about or have a passion or vision or mission or principle for, you might make that money. That's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to say, these are the things that I have the passion for. How can I make these things move forward? And the first tasks that need to be a part of that business are going to be revenue generating activities, because then I can get more revenue in and then I can build it up and then it helps me move the mission forward. Okay. So have some type of planning system that equates to what I just kind of said. Have your roles, have the things that are important to you, list out the order of importance of the tasks that need to be done, and then you just kind of focus on them throughout the day in between the meetings that you have. And if you can, block off the time to knock those things out, or you get stuck into a situation like me where you don't have the time to do them and then you have to work all the time. So take back your time by planning the stuff that you're doing.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. Knowing you could be saving money for the things you really want, like that dream house or ride, is a great feeling. That's why the State Farm Personal Price Plan can help you save when you choose to bundle home and auto. Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about, and I'm going to talk about it from what I'm doing and what I want to be doing. So the first thing that I have had is a pocket journal. Okay, so I enjoy pocket journaling in the context of not just remembering stuff and writing tasks in it. I use that type of stuff like the tasks and remembering things that I have to do throughout the day in my main book. When I'm out and about, I have a pocket journal. And if something comes up, I do put it in there, or have started to put it in there to then kind of like get it back into my task. So for example, I went and got a haircut. I talked to the guys about my friend's beef jerky. I talked to them about my podcast company, my finance company. So I got some samples from Alex for Arizona Backyard Barbecue. Check them out on Instagram, Arizona Backyard Barbecue, best jerky in the state of Arizona, possibly the world. And so I'm going to go give them some samples, start building that relationship. They have an idea for a podcast. I'd love to help them because I believe in small businesses, and that's what drives the community. I love my community. I want to be more adamant in my community. I wish that I cared about going to church, because I would go to church. There's a church straight up the street. But you got to be in the community, meeting people, in my opinion, to build the world that you want to see in the world. If that makes sense. Anyway, so I wrote their names down. Their names are Andre and Chris. I wrote them down in my pocket journal. But the other purpose of my pocket journal is to kind of slow down time, to remember the things that I'm doing throughout the day, to talk about the things that happen throughout the day. Like, yesterday there was a situation that happened that I wrote about in my journal momentarily about what it was and how I was feeling about it. And that's super important, not only because it allows us as men or women or whoever, I guess, to express how they feel about a situation without actually having to maybe talk to that person or talk to another person or go see a counselor, so you can get it off and out of your chest. But it also helps for you to do it because it breaks up it helps you remember the day. And so one of the things is that when we get caught in autonomy and when we get caught in doing the same things over without any kind of separation of what we're doing or change or new stuff, it makes it feel like life is going faster. So one of the things that I am very, very happy about is that if you do this method or this exercise where you're writing about the actual things that happen, your reflection points on them make you feel like the year is longer. And because it makes you feel like that year is longer, it makes it feel like time is starting to pass slower, and your brain kind of looks at that and then kind of slows itself down to be, wow, time is going by slower. I've done all these things in this year, and the year is only July. And so then when you are moving forward past July, you're cherishing it more, and it makes it kind of like feel like the world is going slower. It's really hard to explain. I wish I could. I don't think I have the intelligence to. I don't think I have the intelligence to, or the communication to articulate it. But like, I know it sounds weird that if you're just thinking about stuff that had happened, it makes it feel like it's going slower. You're like, well, it didn't feel like it was going slower when you were doing it. But what happens is when you're reflecting upon it and then you start moving forward, like time seems to be slower because of your ability to remember the stuff that you had done in a more in-depth sense. If you go to Speaking of Psychology, it's a podcast. I'll put it in my broadcast channel as well. There's an episode that talks about it. And if you listen to it, they explain it much better than I can because they're psychologists and they study it and they study time. But that's one of the biggest things about how you can change the way in which you perceive time. And for me, it has helped so much by having that pocket journal. So that pocket journal is like a list of the things that are happening to me, my feelings about them. And then when I'm out and about and I need to remember something, I can put it in my pocket journal and I remember it a lot better than if I just put it in my phone, and I can go back to my pocket journal and get the information, in my opinion, a lot faster and easier than fiddle fucking with my phone. Excuse my language. Okay. The second journal that I keep is an inventor, like an idea book, right? So I had an idea how to make it better. I don't like the way that the earmuffs that I found for dogs to suppress sound. So I kind of think I found a better way for them to suppress sound, and I'd like to invent it and think about it and try it on my dogs, because again, I play a lot of music. Fireworks piss me off because they make Bane crazy and Kylo crazy. Well, it makes Bane confused because he doesn't know what the hell's happening. And then he sees lights and he's like, oh my God, I don't know what's happening. There's so many lights. And he's a little crazy. And so I have this idea journal that I keep, where I keep all of my ideas, not only for like newsletter ideas, for my app ideas, for just inventing this, right? Because as you become more creative and you become more thoughtful about creating solutions in the world, you are essentially becoming an inventor, right? Like, I'm not setting out to be an inventor. I'm just now trying to set out to solve problems. If that means that I invent something, then I guess I'm an inventor, and that's cool. I like that. I want to have things in the world. I want to make things in the world that work and are better for the world. Okay. So I keep that one. And I personally don't do this on a regular basis. It's more along when I have an idea. But what I'm going to do, because it was recommended in a YouTube video that I saw, was that no, it wasn't recommended in the YouTube video. It's recommended in this creative book that I'm reading to hopefully have an interview with the person that wrote the book. And in that book, she talks about, like, you have to actively set time to innovate to create, right? If you actually set time to be creative, to be innovative, to rethink about the things that you're creating and the way that you're studying about it and the way that you're working on it, the more innovative and creative you're actually going to be, and the way that you're going to get. Because all of us can be inventors. All of us can be creators, right? It's just whether or not we are focusing on that specific skill. Yes, some of us have innate abilities to be better at things than other people. Some of us started really, really young at things, so we're inherently better at those things anyway, because of the fact that we are environmentally better at those things, I guess, because we started them so freaking young, right? Like the Julian Lage, I think that's how you pronounce his last name, is a famous jazz musician. I think he started playing when he was 4 or 5. Like, of course he's going to be good by the time he's 20. He's already been playing it for 15 years. And so, like, my point is that we can actively be innovative and creative. So I have this journal, but I'm going to be doing more with it as I move forward with having a set time every other week or a couple times a month for innovation and creativity. The other things that I just realized as we're looking at this is a compendium, or as I've been looking at this. So one of the things that I want to do is have a compendium and start making my own compendiums for things. And essentially, this is an idea that I've had for a very long time. I didn't have the words to kind of put it together, or that it was like a specific journal. But like when I'm learning something, I like taking a lot of notes on it and designing it so that I can go back to those notes and understand it and remember it and learn it very well. But I would have like a messy notes and not have them all in one place. So having a compendium, it's essentially like my compendium. The first compendium that I'm going to make is for Figma, right? And so I want to make a compendium for specifically Figma, because it's going to help me remember the things. It's going to help me, maybe if someone has questions about Figma, I can sift through it really fast to get the answers to it. But mainly it's going to help me remember stuff, and for me to get the answers to it, to move it, to build my knowledge base around it so that I don't forget stuff. And the reason why this is important is because I did a bunch of stuff in Figma. I kind of remember how to do some of it. It comes back very, very easily, but it's something that I want to have as a part of my regular day software, to actually design stuff for UX, to design stuff from a software perspective, because that's the realm that I'm going. And so for me, building that compendium is going to be really good for me, because it'll help me learn and know the software. The other compendium that I want to make is for my new Sony camera. I want to watch some videos on it, organize my thoughts on it, test some stuff on it, put that stuff in it, right? A compendium is essentially a guide for a specific thing. Now, you don't have to have a compendium for one specific thing. You could have a compendium that's in general about a subject or a topic, right? I'll probably do that as I move forward in my compendiums. Like you can get a compendium for birds. I'm not going to make one of those. Oh, I might make one of those. I really like birds, except for the pigeons that jump out in me in front of the street, but that's a different story. Point is that you could have a compendium like with all the birds and where they're from and who they are. Okay. If their names are Bob or John or whatever. And so again, that's another way to move you forward in things that you want to be good at. Not specifically business related, but about you being efficient related. For me, with the Figma thing, 100% business related. Want to be good with that. Going to be using it for a very long time. Want to really focus on being a designer, a graphic designer, a creator in that specific space, because that's what I enjoy doing. And that's a part of who I am from a Libra perspective or from an art perspective. Okay. And so that's something that I want to do. Same thing with the Sony, but you can do it for whatever you want, whether it's business related or not business related. Mine just happened to be a little bit of both, hobby wise and business related stuff that I am currently working on. And if you head on over to Age of Jeremy on YouTube, subscribe to my YouTube channel. As I do these things, I'll be doing some videos where you can actually see me wave the books around and see my beautiful face. I guess, I don't know. Okay. The second one is a commonplace book. This is something I started reading about, and it can really help with the way that it can really help me organize quotes and things in it that I find that I really like. Like today, for the first time, I was like, well, what do I use a commonplace book for? And then Youngblood sat down with Ozzy Osbourne, I think, and whoever he was talking about, I think it was Ozzy Osbourne. And he said that whoever it was, I think it was Ozzy, said, don't worry about what people think about you. In the future, they'll see it I don't remember the quote. That's the purpose of a commonplace book. So there's different types of commonplace books. I'm not going to go into them here. Go to Parker's notes. He can talk to you about commonplace books, but essentially a commonplace book is a book that's designed in some way to just keep quotes of things that you have. Like there's just like you could have a commonplace treasury book where it's just quotes. You could have a commonplace manuscript book where it's like a quote and then you talk about it. That's probably what I'll have. Okay. But the idea is that as you come across quotes in the world, you want to write them down so that you can reflect upon them or utilize them or remember them in some capacity. And this is really important for if you want to write stuff, if you want to teach stuff, if you want to present stuff, because you can utilize these as part of whatever it is that you're creating. Right? If it's something that you want to create in the world, or you could just want them because you like them and you can reflect on them and they have a special meaning to you that have helped you move in your life the way that you want to move in your life about, right? Like even if I didn't have my business, once I found out about how to use a commonplace book, watching YouTube videos this last week through Parker's notes and coming across like, oh, I really need that because I can put these quotes in here and I can think about them and then I can utilize them to build out my principles, right? When I look around at the people that are really the successful most people, like maybe someone like Ray Dalio or someone like Bill Gates, there's a lot of reflection and a lot of writing and a lot of thoughtfulness that goes into their life. And if you can take that thoughtfulness and learn how to use it in a way that helps you, then you can make a better life for yourself. Like I heard another quote the other day that I didn't write down. See, this is why I need a commonplace book. That's something along the lines of that. The people that read more, you can find a correlation that they're more of a successful person. And again, it's because when you're reading and you're reading for intrinsic value, not only do you find enjoyment out of it, but what ends up happening as you read things, it sparks your curiosity into other things. And then you go read about those. That's why people that read have such a broad knowledge about things that are out there in the world, because they read something, they find something else that interests them, they go read about that, and that starts to continue and continue on. And from that, they just get a wide depth of knowledge. And then they either share that with the world or they keep it to themselves, but it helps them live the life that they want to live. Like for me, when I read stuff or I read finance books or I read, non-finance books and a book's mentioned in there, I go and read that book. People have always asked me how I know so much. I don't know, like I'm not really that, Like and maybe, I'm being humble, but I don't really think that I'm all that smart. I just enjoy reading and figuring stuff out that I don't understand. And when you can do that, you start to understand things more, and then you can utilize that to make sure that people aren't taking advantage of you, people aren't taking advantage of your friends and your family, and then you can utilize that knowledge to build specific wealth. So please read more. And so again, if you have the time, make sure that you sit down, and if you don't have the time, make the time. Sit down and figure out how you're going to manage your tasks, how you're going to manage your day, how you're going to organize your roles. You don't have to do it my way. Just find a fucking process, stick with it and do it and get better at it and try it. And don't feel shitty if you don't do well at it and you need to keep trying over and starting over. Just fucking keep doing it. Second thing is, I would say have a journal of some type. Again, I have my pocket journal is my main one that I carry with me everywhere. And I write shit down throughout the day. Sometimes I reflect on it. It helps me see my life. It's helped time slow down for me, being more thoughtful about my day and writing about it and sharing my feelings. And then when I'm out and about, I can take notes about stuff and then put them in my, my planner for where I keep my main, task notes and businessy stuff. And then for me, I've ordered a book. I use the Lectern, I think is what they're called, 1917. And I bought Softback B6, I think it is. And that's going to be my compendium for my Figma as I dive deeper into Figma to be able to utilize to help us move my podcast app and our other software forward to become a, more, to use that as a regular software. And any software that you guys may use or utilize, I would say take time to really fucking know it. Make a compendium because it'll help you remember it. And then I'm going to start a commonplace book of the things that I am working on, or the things that I am finding in quotes that I want to continue to do and continue to have and continue to know. So with that, join my broadcast channel. Let me know what you think. Be thankful, grateful, and kind, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning into The Age of Jeremy. If you enjoyed this podcast, make sure that you like it, subscribe to it, share it with a friend. The opening song was Can't Be Cool Forever by Medium Build. The closing song is Mutable by Spanish Love Songs. I use a Neumann microphone, a Zoom L8, Steinberg's Cubase, and Waves plugins in post. And one last time, be thankful, grateful, and kind. We'll see you next time. Bye.
The coaster car was climbing. I hung my head over the edge. If the fall would go down easy, then I could picture sinking in. Wish I could